sudden chill blankets the room as the clock nears 307. Amid the silence, a faint, distorted whisper calls your name. Tell me in the comments the hour and the place where this would happen to you. And if this makes your skin crawl, like the video and subscribe. You are alone on the couch, the lamp beside you stuttering in soft, anxious beats, as if it, too, is holding its breath. A subtle draft slides along the back of your neck, cold, papery, the kind that smells faintly of iron and wet dust. And the old wall clock ticks too loud in the hush. You tell yourself the house is empty, that footsteps would give themselves away. Yet the whisper arrives slow and warped, carrying the rhythm of someone you once knew. Its vowels are dragged through grainy static. The air chills another degree. The bulb gutters once and brightens in a thin, nervous flare. You decide not to answer. That decision settles like a stone as the hands crouch toward 307. The voice slims and sharpens, a thread of insistence sewn with something almost pleading. You hear your name again, syllables stretched and pinched, and the whisper shifts from around you to directly against you, an impossible intimacy. A rasp blooms right at your ear, raw and wet, and you spin so fast the room skitters. The hallway yawns open, empty, but the temperature gouges inward like ice. Your phone, clumsy against your thigh, skips the arm of the couch and hits hardwood with a brittle, glass-cracking sound. The screen spiders into a small, bright constellation. The glow fractures and dies to a red warning. Light bleeds away. A tangible patch of dark grows where you hope to see. Heart a drum in your throat. You clamp your mouth shut. Breath fogs in front of you, short and visible. Each exhale cutting white in the cold that now trails like a leash from the doorway. Tiny movements begin to accumulate into proof. An upturned cup on the coffee table inches toward the lip, making a slow, nauseous scrape. A shadow beside the bookshelf detaches and stretches, not matching any lamp. Sounds change pitch. The tick becomes a stuttering hammer, and under it, a lower tone hums through the plaster, like a distant speaker bleeding static. The house rearranges itself without permission. A rug bunches by one corner. Shoes whisper together, and the sense of being watched turns into a tactile pressure behind your sternum. Whatever is calling knows how to make the world colder and quieter when you refuse. Refusal does not satisfy it. The whisper returns, now patient and thin, as if cataloging your pulses. It probes names, memories, the shape of your silence, mapping where you keep fear. The lamp flickers in time with the second hand. 3 quick sputters. A pause, synchronizing light and time, so that darkness becomes a measured thing. You notice, for the first time, a faint metallic rasp beneath the wallpaper near the baseboard. A whisper of movement that is not air. Then, a click. The hallway door behind you settles, and the deadbolt slides in place with a neat, deliberate finality. The temperature drops again. Deeper your teeth chatter. That click is absolute. Turning back feels different now, because a root vanished when the lock sealed. You are not merely being called anymore, you are being contained. Something else has changed that you cannot undo. The name in the dark finds its rhythm and tailors itself to you, arriving with a familiarity that no one else on the property could mimic. The whisper's cadence begins to loop, a slow, repeating reel that makes the hairs along your forearm lift like the first cold lick of rain. You press your palms flat against the fabric of the couch because movement seems to make it angrier, and the texture anchors you. Every tick moves closer to 307, and the air keeps losing temperature as if time itself is siphoning warmth. You are proof now. You did not answer, and refusing has not expelled the thing. It has only sharpened its proximity. You push your feet flat, and the cold floor answers. A thin ache under your soles, a tang of metal pricks the back of your tongue, sharp and real. Behind the plaster, something scratches in small, deliberate pulls that match the ticking now. You do not speak, and that refusal has been recorded, marked in the dark like a tally, and it waits for the next hand now. You clamp your mouth shut until the taste of metal fills the back of your throat. Because the second it parts, the whisper leans closer, as if it rides on the cold air that spills from the vents. The room grows thinner. You can see the small white clouds of your breath hang and dissolve like ghost moths, and the lamp beside you stutters, stealing warmth with every dim. Time becomes a tick that presses against your teeth. A glass on the side table tips with a quiet clink, rotates a hair's breadth, and then stops, an impossible, deliberate movement that leaves a wet ring on the wood. The presence behind the sound sharpens, patient and hungry. Refusing is no longer defiance. It is bait. You feel the hair on your forearm lift, goose flesh like tiny teeth, and you understand that silence is changing the room into something colder, smaller, more urgent. Each tick gnaws at you. The air bites at your lungs until breathing is a task, slow and shallow, and shadows pool like ink in the corners, crawling along the baseboards with a rhythm that matches the clock's heartbeat. Something unseen rakes at the countertop, and an upended mug exhales steam that smells faintly of old coffee and electricity. You watch steam curl and then flatten as the temperature drops again. With every denied syllable, the light shudders more violently. The bulbs flirt with going out and come back weak, like a smile almost remembered. Don't answer, you tell yourself, because answering is an open door. Still, your pulse drums an accusatory tempo in your ears. If you're listening, and you probably are, tell me in the comments the hour you froze at, and where you heard it. Say it quietly, like a confession. And then, please like the channel if you want more of this. Say it, because names are curious things. When the clock's hand scrapes to 307, exactly, the voice breaks its pattern. It swells from a thin, pleading rasp into something that tears the air. The single syllable of your name ripped into a command. Answer. The sound is a blade drawn too fast. It carves the world in half. Light dies as if someone pinched out a candle the lamp collapses into pitch, and your immediate surroundings are swallowed except for the tremulous halo from your phone. In the shock, your fingers fumble, and the device slips, cold glass kissing cold floor. The fall answers the shout with a cracking note. The screen fractures in a webbed pattern, and the battery hiccups, giving a final, weak flicker like a dying moth. Your ears ring, high and tinny, and the room smells sharply of ozone and something like wet wool. In the gloom, something that had been resting in the doorway takes a small, decisive step forward. You feel the room lose another inch of its radius. Your ability to call for help is gone. Glass fragments glitter under your fingertips, and the glow that kept you anchored is now a sputtering, unreliable thing. Silence returns, but it has weight. It is not peace so much as inventory. You touch the crackled screen, and the skin of your thumb comes away with a smear of warmth that is suddenly foreign. Your pulse has slowed, measured as if someone else is timing it. The temperature settles lower than it had been before, and condensation beads on the inside of a nearby window. Breath leaves you in ragged, visible pulls. Objects have been rearranged. The photograph you kept of a friend, the one on the mantel, is missing from its frame, its glass intact, but the image gone, as if it were never there. That absence lands heavier than any lamp. Something walked through memory and took a small, irretrievable thing. A rule then reveals itself in the empty space where your name should have been thanked or answered. When you refuse, it does not merely demand voice. It trades away what you hold warm and important. You remain on the floor, palms pressed to the cool hardwood, and knowing this changes the calculus. The room is quieter but more dangerous, and the cost of silence is now a ledger with your name and a balance that only ever goes down. You follow the tremor through the thin wall, fingers tracing a hairline crack where the plaster hums. A breath of cold slips across the back of your neck, and the house exhales around you. The air tastes of metal and dust. Beneath your fingertips, the panel shivers in time with the whisper, a relentless vibration like a trapped insect. You press your ear to the drywall and hear it. Not a single voice, but a stuttering, warped echo of your own name, stretched and folded until it sounds unfamiliar. That realization feels like a blade. There is cleverness here, a mechanism tuned to you, and the knowledge steals you. You force your jaw to stay steady, feeling the chill creep deeper into your collarbone, and you decide to pry. Your palms are slick. Inside the crack, the insulation is pillowy, but damp. The drywall edge bites at your skin as you lever a screwdriver into loosened screws. Each exhale is sharp and audible. You count your breaths without meaning to, 1, 2, short and thin, and notice how the speaker's cadence matches them, an uncanny imitation that steals your rhythm. As you pull the first screw free, the mimicry sharpens, the echo shaping itself around your lungs. The sound's timbre changes when you cough. It mimics your rasp. That alignment, your breathing, and its timing feels like a lock clicking open. You wrench the panel away enough to see inside, and the small circle of the speaker stares back like a black eye, rimmed with tape, its grill spidered with a hairline fracture. When you reach deeper, you find it, tucked behind the cavity, is a mess of wires and tape and tiny, scrawled labels. Your name is written on a strip of masking tape, the handwriting your own in a hurried, looping hand. Underneath, there are thin paper sleeves with dates and times. Last week, a month ago, years ago. The damp paper carries the sour, papery smell of things sealed and forgotten. A thin recorder clings to the board, its battery swollen, and a coil of wire disappears into the studs. The speaker hasn't been broadcasting some random phantom. It's been replaying pieces of you, snippets recorded and warped. A repetition factory aimed at learning the shape of your speech. Air presses heavy in your chest. Like someone has closed the room's lungs, your breaths come fast and shallow, and the knowledge cuts to bone. This is not outside you. It is grafted to your voice, looping to lure the shape of you into answering. You don't hesitate. You yank the recorder free. For one breath, there is a promising silence, only the tick of your heart and the slap of your shirt against your ribs. Then the speaker detonates. The sound isn't noise so much as physical force. It rakes through your skull. A guttural, animal howl that makes your teeth ache and tastes like static in the back of your throat. Pain lances behind one ear. A high, sudden ringing blooms and steadies into a relentless tone that blots out direction. Your grip goes slack. Your phone skitters from your palm and shatters on the floor, the screen exploding into a spiderweb of glass. The light that kept you anchored dies. The scream also brings something else. The slow, heavy approach of footsteps at the edge of hearing. Deliberate and measured, moving across floorboards on the far side of the room. They don't sound mechanical anymore, they are weight and intent. You spin, heart stuttering, but there is only shadow and the crumpled recorder in your hand. Its casing warm and intimate, the consequence is immediate and irreversible. Hearing narrowed to a single channel, you cannot localize sound well enough to choose an exit. The lost flashlight and broken phone mean no quick calls, no clear beacon. The tape in your hand proves the voice's source, but it cannot be unplayed, and the marks on the paper, sleeves your own hand made, cannot be unseen. The footsteps draw nearer, rhythm steady as a countdown, and the temperature drops again. Cold threading through the broken drywall and into your bones, you taste copper fear or something under your skin, and you realize, with a dread that is pragmatic, that revealing the speaker only removed one layer. Whatever learned to repeat you has already been listening long enough to move. You crouch, chest tight, and the artificial loop of your name returns, soft, patient, perfectly timed with your slow, ragged inhale, proof that the trap was never only on the wall. You spin. The steps that had been coming end in halfway. Silence, swallowed by plaster. The shadow at your shoulder is gone, but the air does not forgive you. It tightens. Cold pools at your collarbone. Breath jerks out in short white bursts, and the house exhales nothing back. The clock on the mantel is not moving its glass, holds a frozen smear at 3:07. The lights steady into a flat, patient glow that makes the wallpaper look like skin. That pause is not mercy, it is waiting, and the waiting changes the rules. You realize, before your mind can protest, that the house measures time by the edge of your fear. You go to the wall where you ripped the panel hours or minutes ago. Fingers smell of dust, and something like burnt paper, the edge of the speaker, is warm despite the chill, and it hums under your palm like a pulse. Leaning in close, you can feel the sound inside your molars, miniature waves biting the inside of your skull. You clear your throat to test it, to tell it your name on your own terms. But the air that leaves you comes back wrong. Flattened, folded into the inflection you tried to avoid. Your own syllables return with an echoing delay, an imitation too precise. And when you swallow, there is the iron tang of silence where your voice should be. You press your ear to the hollow and hear what you are not saying. Phrases you have never spoken arranged into a slow, patient litany. Even if you left the house, even if you ran until your lungs burned, that recorded shape of your refusal would follow. When you try to whisper to yourself to steady the voice, you hear instead the announcement of another name, a neighbor perhaps, or the echo of someone who answered before you. It catalogs the shape of your silence and keeps it like a pressed flower, impossible to return to life, but preserved to be shown. That fact cannot be undone. The sound has learned you panic, becomes motion. You move toward the front door, the hallway light stutters, a jaundiced bulb that throws the banister into bands of shadow and sickly yellow. The handle is ice to the touch and gives with a reluctant squeal into an outside damp that muffles the world like wool. Your phone offers one thin pulse of light, 1%. The screen stutters like a dying eye, and a blue glare pulls the wallpaper into a smear you cannot read. You try to call a name, a number, anyone, but the battery dies midvo, and the house swallows the static. The lights shift into a steady dim, shadows gather at your ankles and do not obey the angle of the lamp. You are contained. The exit has been removed from your list of possibilities, and the world outside thins to a rumor you can no longer reach. Even windows lie now, reflecting rooms you do not remember. A world put behind glass you cannot break. You tear the speaker from its fittings, because you must see the mechanism of accusation. Inside, there is no wire loomed to any human device, only a small hollow, lacquered and dark, and a strip of something reflective, glass dulled by age. You turn it up to the light, and your face answers, but wrong. The reflection moves on a hair later than you, lips shaping your name before your jaw obeys. A tiny vibration crawls under the rim and through your ribs. That vibration is your refusal rearranged. It has become the thing that will call. You realize then how patient the house is. It does not drag you screaming into corners. It teaches you silence until your silence takes a shape. And then It borrows that shape to speak. You find, tucked into the hollow, a scrap of paper with a scrawled hour and a room, someone else's handwriting, or yours from a future hand. The paper crinkles like old skin when you lift it. The cold does not lift, the clock never unfreezes. Somewhere through the rooms, the sound of your name leaks out slow and soft, an echo that is finally not a plea, but a door. The cracked speaker sits on the floor, faintly vibrating as your name fades into the cold, and then stops. Tell me in the comments hour and room you'd be in when it freezes, then like and subscribe to hear who answers.